What's up, guys? It's day 49 of the video blog today. Been getting some requests for an update in the thread. I'm currently at 823,000 VPPs, which means I need 177,000, I think. Yeah, so that's theoretically possible for me in 18 days of playing. I can wake up and do 10k a day and wake up and do it again the next day, and I could get elite in 18 days. But I think more likely is that I'll do it over a slightly longer period of time because I'm going to need some rest some days. I'm not quite going to get there. But that's why I'm shooting for 10k a day, because I just want to kind of get this done. And Pooh Bear is only a Chrome star because he can't stop raise calling Broadway as the first hand like a boss. He keeps it real, he will not be exploited. So he's still learning. But anyway, what I'm excited about today is that I got up really early and I've been planning out my year. And planning out next year and the things that I want to do, it makes the next 3 weeks a bit more manageable for me. It's not so bad to kind of not spend the next 3 weeks the way I might most want to if it's going to help me spend the next year of my life doing things that I want to do, which I think it is. I mean, a 47k swing is not nothing. I could use that money and it's going to be pretty significant to my life. So that said, what I'm planning for next year, I'm not going to go too much into all the details because I haven't really figured them all out yet. But what's important is that I started putting them on paper. I started putting out I use Evernote, but you can use whatever you like, putting down ideas I have for how I want to live the next year of my life. What I want to do, places I want to go, things I want to attend, and ideas I want to further, and things I want to be more a part of. Or even things you want to be less a part of, whatever. But for me, it's more what I do want to do. And I think that's really important. I talked a lot in past videos about planning your life and the excitement and the joy that comes from planning out and being an active participant in your own life. And I think it's important to write stuff down and take that first step. In life, you don't really just get what you wish for, you get what you work for. You have to take action. And writing down things is a great first action, because when you just think about what you want, they're kind of faint ideas in your head, and it's easy for you to be back and forth on what you actually really want, because some days you might feel like you want this and some days you might feel like you want that, and it's easy to kind of fool yourself. But if you sit down and you say, we're going to figure out what we want out of life, where we want to live, what we want to do, what kind of career we want, what kind of climate we want to live in, what kind of activities we want to be doing, what kind of people we want to surround ourselves with, what do we want? And you really think about it and write it on paper, make a list. I mean, you can't really argue with that. I mean, I guess you could say, I was feeling a bit different that day, but if you really put time and energy in your list and you keep it with you and you adapt it and edit it, I mean, you're going to get a better idea than just the jumbled thoughts in your brain of what you want, because you're constructing it. You're physically constructing it. And getting it out of your head on the paper also lets you kind of then break it down and say, okay, what's stopping me? What is standing in the way of living in this place that I might want to live, somewhere I always wanted to go? Or what's stopping me from learning about this activity I don't know how to do? Or this, whatever it is. What's stopping me from being surrounded by people who would help me grow in the direction I want to grow? Where can I find these people? And when you find out the barriers, you can look at them one by one, and using deductive reasoning, logic, and of all things Google, you can basically overcome anything. Life is not that hard if you put forth the effort. And that's the other thing. I mean, it's not just action, it's putting forth the effort at all. Because I think there's a thing that happens where we become just kind of like, we give ourselves over to fate. I was reading, when I was looking through my phone today, looking at some productivity stuff for next year, I came across this old note-taking app I used to use. And I had taken a bunch of notes on my favorite book, which is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And I'm going to pronounce that terrible, but whatever. Anyway, it's a great book, and I recommend you read it. But I came across this quote that it says, at a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate. That's the world's greatest lie. And I love that quote, especially because it's pretty bold. A lot of people like to say, oh, this is what my life is doing. This is the plan for me, and life has this brilliant idea, and da-da-da, and like fate made us and brought us together. And And you're just kind of saying, hey, listen, like, that's bullshit. And that's bold, and I like it. Because it's not that life doesn't bring you unexpected results. It's just that there's not one way for things to work out, and you're helpless unless you choose to be helpless. If you choose to be helpless and to be a passive onlooker in your own life, then yeah, you can watch your life like a movie, sure. You can watch it go, and you can hope that it goes well, but, take no effort to ensure that it does. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're okay with that and that's cool with you, cool. And, there are some people where you could look at their lives and it looks like life just picked them. It just likes, maybe life just likes you, and everything is going to be sunshine, rainbows, and kittens, and you'll never have to try. And if that's true, lucky you. And I mean that. I don't hate on that at all. I mean, if life's brilliant, cool, keep on doing. But if you want life to be a certain way, and you don't feel like your reality is lining up with that, take some action. You get what you work for, you get what you put into this life. And it doesn't mean you have to be bitter about the way things are or be in complete resistance to the way things are. Just take some action to build things in a direction that's more in line with what you want. It's possible. You can take the reins a little bit. Life's a river, but you can swim. You can learn to, I'm not saying battle the current and just be completely unaccepting of things that just are, truths. But in the same way, don't accept the limitations. Just because the way things, don't accept the way things have been or continue to be. If you believe that you can change them, you'll be right. If you don't believe you can change them, you'll be right as well. But, I mean, nothing great was accomplished by humans by the belief that they couldn't do something. I guess some things happen by accident, but if you want to build the life you want, figure out what it is and get to work. It's really that simple. People have done it before you. People have done things greater than whatever it is that you want to do. Who's to measure? But the point is, it's possible. Someone's doing it, or someone's doing things similar, or just as lofty for them. And there's just no reason to let stuff stop you. Figure out what you want to do. Write it down. Write down the barriers and take concerted action to overcome them. And what happens is, as you start to overcome the barriers to the things you want to do, it becomes a habit. And habits are easy. Habits are effortless. It becomes weird to let something stop you. You get an idea of something you want to do, and then something comes up, and it's like, oh, we'd have to overcome this. There's two ways that can go. You can look at that and say, can't do it. Or you can say, okay, well, how do we overcome that? And you figure out how. And if you're someone who figures out how, you will continue to figure out how. Because life's never going to bend over and just take it. Life is going to fight back. Life is going to say, no, barrier, no, resistance. And you got to keep pushing through. And, I don't think you should bend over and take it either, though. Don't just let life give you the D. You give life the D. That's the message. That's the spirit, So, that's really just what I wanted to say. And, I hope you guys get inspired to take some action in your own life and, reinforce those habits that you can build your life. Start doing it, and it gets easier because, you're on the path and you're writing, whatever. You're following your progress and you're seeing it work. And then when new opportunities arise and you think of new things you want to do, you believe you can do them. And that's really what it all comes down to. It all comes down to faith. Not necessarily faith in a higher power, faith that fate will take care of everything, or even just faith in yourself, just an overall faith. An overall faith that you can. Because either you believe you can or you believe you can't. And either way, you're right. And I know that's a huge cliche, but cliches just are true. Almost always. There's a reason they get repeated to the point where we call them cliches. And if you want to do something and you think you can do it, then you will overcome the barriers and you'll do it. And if you, at some point, decide that you don't think you can do it, it's very unlikely to happen by chance. And you can wish and pray all you like, but I don't think that's your most constructive and beneficial course of action. So, write shit down and get to work, and that's what I'm going to do. Day 49, thanks for watching.